Republican leader.
Members of Congress don't always see eye to eye on everything. That's fairly obvious. There are often strong and principal disagreements about taxes, the size and scope of government, Obamacare, foreign policy, you name it. But let's be clear, when it comes to decisions about contraception, both parties believe a woman should be able to make her own decisions. Now, some on the other side would like to pretend otherwise. They think they can score political points and create divisions where there aren't any by distorting the facts. And that's why there are increasingly outlandish claims one nonpartisan fact checker described as, quote, simply wrong, end quote, just keep getting debunked. Even worse, our friends on the other side are now on record as saying that we should protect the freedoms of some while stripping away the freedoms of others. Well, Republicans continue to insist that we can and should be in the business of protecting everyone's rights. We think that instead of restricting America's religious freedoms, Congress should instead work to preserve a woman's ability to make contraception decisions for herself. And the legislation Senator Ayotte, Fisher, and I filed yesterday would do just that. The Preserving Religious Freedom and a Woman's Access to Contraception Act would clarify that an employer cannot block an employee from legal access to her FDA-approved contraceptives. It's a common-sense proposal. It reaffirms that we can both preserve America's long tradition of tolerance and respect for people of faith, while at the same time preserving a woman's ability to make her own decisions about contraception. Our bill would also ask the FDA to study whether contraceptives could be made available to adults safely without a prescription. And it would allow women to set aside more money in their flexible spending accounts so they can cover out-of-pocket medical expenses, many of which are skyrocketing under Obamacare. So if Democrats are serious about doing right by women, if they're not just interested in stoking divisions in an election year, then they should get on board with our legislation. That's a start, and then they can work with us to undo the damage that their policies, like Obamacare, have already caused to millions of middle-class women. Research shows that American women make about 80% of the health care decisions for their families. Yet, thanks to Obamacare, millions of women lost the health insurance plans they had and they liked, causing enormous disruptions in their lives and in the lives of their families. When women first spoke out about the betrayal they felt when they lost their plans, Washington Democrats said their plans were junk, or worse, that they were lying, because Democratic politicians thought they knew better than all of these people we were hearing from. It was insulting to many, including one constituent who wrote me from Woodford County. She described herself as a lifelong self-employed professional who shopped hard for a policy that she liked and wanted to keep. Here's what she said after Washington Democratic policies overruled her own personal choice of a plan. The President has referred to my type of policy as substandard. In fact, it's a good product for people in my situation. It appears that the President does not understand personal finance and does not trust Americans to choose products that are good for them. He also does not appreciate people like me who are willing to accept personal responsibility for a large part of my own routine medical expenses. She's not the only one who feels this way, and she's not the only one who's been hurt by Obamacare. As a result of Obamacare, too many women now have fewer choices of doctors and hospitals. As a result of Obamacare, millions of Americans, nearly two-thirds of them women, are now at risk of having their hours and their wages reduced. As a result of Obamacare, married women can face penalty taxes just for working. As a result of Obamacare and other changes by the Obama administration, a woman on Medicare Advantage could see her average benefits reduced by more than $1,500 a year. And thanks to Obamacare, millions of women have had their flexible spending accounts limited and can no longer use tax-preferred medical savings to purchase all the medications they use, a wrong-headed policy that the bill we introduced yesterday seeks to address. But that's just a start. Washington Democrats need to work with us to pass real health reform, actual patient-centered reform that won't hurt women the way Obamacare does. Because we've seen the letters from our constituents, letters like the one I received from a woman in Mount Sterling who says Obamacare did more than just cause her premiums to nearly double. It might make her medications unaffordable as well. I'm on 3 medications, and 2 years ago the copay was $60 for each, she said. Now my medications are costing me a little over $700 a month. That's not fair, it's not right, and this is just the kind of challenge both parties should be working together to address. So let's do away with the false choices. Let's focus on actually helping women instead. Let's work together to boost jobs, wages, and opportunity at a time when women are experiencing so much hardship as a result of this administration's policies. Republicans have been asking Washington Democrats to do all of this for years now. It's about time they started showing they really care.